Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a review and a demo of Tarte's new foundation, the Tarte Face Tape foundation. So I was really interested in this foundation because if you've been following me for any length of time, then you know that my favorite concealer of life is the Tarte Shape Tape. And I recently was watching Taylor's, my favorite YouTuber, Taylor. It's so weird to say that because it's like, I don't know her and I keep calling her my friend. So, my favorite YouTuber, Taylor, does a full 15 days of foundation series, and her last day was a review on this. Now, typically, I have a hard time spending money on high-end foundations because you know how foundations are. They're really gimmicky. You don't really know until you've purchased how it's gonna work for you. But Taylor had pretty decent review, like a really good review of it, and I loved the Tarte Shape Tape, which is like these two are supposed to go together. So I thought, well, if Taylor liked it, and I usually can get away with whatever she says, and I really like the concealer, I wanted to give this a shot. So today's video is going to be my review of the face tape, how I apply it, and then my final thoughts. So a little bit more information about this. I have my computer right here, so I want to read to you what it claims. There are 50 shades of this foundation in 5 different undertones, which is really promising for people who can't find a foundation for their undertone. I think we all can relate to the struggle that it is to find an undertone that works for us. So 50 shades in 5 undertones. It is supposed to be a hypoallergenic, long-wearing, full coverage with a natural matte finish. It's supposed to be transfer-proof, waterproof, sweat-proof, and keeps you flawless through work and play. It has snow mushroom extract, apple fruit extract, and hyaluronic acid to hydrate and brighten the appearance. It does say pair with Shape Tape concealer for double the perfection. So yeah, it says the final claims are Tarte 12-hour power, it's vegan, hypoallergenic, 12-hour hydration, transfer-proof, waterproof, and sweat-proof. So between those claims, Taylor's recommendation, and my love for the Shape Tape concealer, I thought, well, why not? So this foundation is $39. I bought it at Ulta. Originally, I bought 2 colors. I bought 16N Fair Light Neutral, and then I also bought 22N, which I'm not sure why I did that. I'm not really sure what I was thinking that would happen, but I didn't even open that one, and I just returned it right away because, yeah, I just from the bottle, I knew that it was going to be too dark, so I've already returned that one. So yeah, if you guys are interested in my review and demo of this foundation, then please keep on watching. Okay, so my eyes are looking a little bit crazy, but I wanted to show you how I like to apply the Tarte Face Tape foundation. This is what it looks like in the bottle, and usually what I'll just do is I'll put 2 pumps on the back of my hand. I like to apply it with the Real Technique sponge. I just take a little bit at a time and just build it up on my cheeks, going in with little layers at a time. This foundation has such a pretty finish with the sponge. It still gives like really good coverage with the sponge, which is nice. Usually when I want fuller coverage, I have to use a brush, but this foundation has a really pretty like skin-like finish with the sponge. So I'm just going in with that. This is the Real Techniques beauty sponge. Just take a little bit more and build it up on my other cheek. So the color looks really good right when I apply it. I pretty much, so the color of the Tarte Shape Tape that I like, the concealer, I am in the color 16N, and that's about the same color as like my skin tone. I usually don't use concealer to like brighten up my under eyes, I just use it to conceal. So I went with that color for the foundation, and it looks really good when you first apply it, but it kind of oxidizes on me a little bit, and then definitely by the end of the day it is way dark. So I'll probably need to go down to 12N for this to like really work, but yeah, you can kind of see that it's getting a little bit dark, but that's okay, we'll work with it. So I let it dry mostly, and then wherever I feel like I need a little bit more coverage, I'll go in and just add a little bit more. I do notice that this settles into lines, so I try to avoid around my mouth. I just build it up on my cheeks and on my forehead. Okay, this is just freshly done. Like I keep saying, like the color looks really good when I first apply it, but when it starts drying down, it gets about a shade darker, which is okay. Like I'll talk about this in a little bit, but I really can't wear this on its own, so I'll show you a little bit later how I fix that. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup, finish up my eyes, and put on some brows, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what the foundation looks like once I have the rest of my foundation on. I did go ahead and use my Tarte Shape Tape concealer for my concealer, and I did set the rest of my face with the Maybelline Loose Finishing Powder in just the lightest shade. And it looks really pretty. Like, I love the finish of this foundation right when you put it on. You saw when I was applying it, I like to apply it with the damp sponge because I feel like that gives it a really pretty, like, luminous skin-like finish. But the color, so on camera I'm looking at myself and it looks really good. You can't really tell, I mean you can kind of tell because my neck is really pale and my skin is like about a shade darker than I usually go for. So yeah, this one, when I'm first applying it, the color looks like it's gonna match, but when it sets down, it definitely oxidizes about one shade, which is my only real complaint about this foundation. I love the finish. I love the way that it looks. It's very full, well, to me it's full coverage and pretty skin-like for a full coverage foundation, but yeah, the color really bothers me, and I've never had a foundation like sink into smile lines before. I usually don't have that problem, but this one really accentuates these lines right here. So yeah, but that's really my only complaint. I don't hate this at all. It's definitely a foundation that I can work with, but yeah, there's just a few things that I would change. I'd probably go down to the color 12N, so that if it does oxidize, it will still be the same color as my neck, and I would just have to set it really really carefully with some setting powder. So I'm gonna wear this foundation throughout the day. This really isn't gonna be like a wear test, but I just wanna show you what it looks like at the end of the day. Jeremy and I are helping my mom hang curtains today, so I'm not just gonna be at home, I'm actually gonna be doing things today, so I really wanna show you what this foundation looks like at the end of the day. And yeah, so we'll see you in a little bit. Hey guys, so it is the end of the night. I need to take my makeup off so bad. Like, I can't even stand to look at myself anymore. It is 8:30, so I've had my foundation on since 10 o'clock this morning, so that's about, what, 10-ish hours, 10 and a half hours. So I wanted to come back on here and just share with you really quickly my final thoughts and kind of just show you how this foundation wears on its own. So this is 10 hours, and honestly, on camera, it looks really good. It looks like dewy and stuff, but I'm gonna insert a picture like somewhere over here just to show you like how much this foundation oxidizes on me. The picture that I took was around 4 o'clock today, so it was, you know, after the foundation had been on for 6 or 6.5 hours. I love the way the picture looks other than the color, because the picture shows exactly like how smooth and like skin-like this foundation can make your skin, but the shade oxidizes from the color on my neck about 2 colors, so it looks really horrible, and I've pretty much been walking around all day with an orange face. I just have a hard time with this one because the color is so off, but the formula is so beautiful. It makes you look like you have like really healthy, hydrated skin, and for somebody who has really dry skin, that's kind of what you want. You kind of want to look healthy. I have worn this foundation a couple other times, and I've been mixing it. I've been trying it with some different primers, some different setting sprays, and mixing it with some other foundations. So I wanted to share with you guys how I usually mix this foundation to make it work. I have been mixing it with the Studio Skin 15-Hour Hydrating Foundation from Smashbox, or the Maybelline Super Stay foundation. Both of these foundations are too light for me on their own, so I like to mix the shape or the face tape with something lighter to help with the color. I do want to get another shade that would be something that I could wear on its own. Probably, I would say the 12N, but I'm almost afraid to get that one too in case that one oxidizes, so I might pick up the 2 shades in the same undertone that are lighter than this one, so I can try it and like get a real feel for it, because I just hate that it makes me really self-conscious to walk around with like my face so dark. But yeah, other than that, like, I love the like overall finish of the foundation. It is definitely different than what I'm normally used to wearing. I really like a satin natural finish, but this is definitely more dewy and luminous than I'm used to, but I don't hate it. The first couple times that I tried it, it looked really greasy because I put way too much product on. So I'm just learning to use the sponge to apply it, but apply less than you think you need, because you're going to get that full coverage effect, but you don't need a lot of product, because I feel like the product is what like makes it look cakey. I don't normally have to touch up my foundation, but I do like to just press out my lines around my mouth, because this foundation does settle into lines really well. You can kind of still see it right there. I don't ever usually have this problem with any other foundation, but I can kind of deal with it because I love the finish of this foundation. So my overall thoughts on this foundation, I think if you have dry skin, you will really like this. The finish is beautiful. The finish is like very healthy. If you have oily skin, I don't know that you would like this, just because if you apply too much product, you can kind of look really greasy and really oily. So if you are okay with that and you're okay with just doing a little bit more touch-ups throughout the day, you might really like this, but I think if you have dry skin, you will love this. My recommendation would probably be, if you have to order online, pick 2 shades lighter than you normally would choose and return the ones that you don't use. Or if you can, if you're like near an Ulta, get a sample before and make sure you test it on your neck and check it in different lights, because this one is hella oxidizing. That is my final thoughts on the new Tarte Face Tape foundation. If you liked this video, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you are notified every time I post. And I thank you so much for being here today, and I'll see you next time.